Well, I guess my assistant is away from her desk.
Looks like your lawyer made a mistake. I've been subpoenaed for your custody hearing.
No mistake. I specifically asked for you to testify.
Well, I've got nothing to contribute.
Carly had you guarding our daughter around the clock for a whole month.
Yeah, I don't work for Carly anymore.
You're still useful to my case. See, I want you on that stand because I want the judge to hear firsthand what a huge mistake Carly made by allowing you to guard our daughter. You suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, is that not correct?
I received treatment.
Yes, and you are a mercenary who works for the highest bidder. Not that I expect you to admit that in court.
Jason hired me because he knew I could protect your daughter from Franco.
You know what the best part about this is? That you were dishonorably discharged from the Marines for reasons we both know.
And we both know those records were sealed.
Yeah, well, you know, Carly wouldn't have seen them anyway because she didn't bother to perform a proper background check on you.
Now, as soon as Carly learned about my dishonorable discharge, she terminated my employment. You got what you wanted. I haven't even been in this town for the past month.
You shouldn't have been guarding my daughter in the first place. The fact that Carly allowed that is further proof that she is not capable of providing a safe environment for Jocelyn.
You know, Jocelyn's got a great mother. You ought to be thankful. Instead of fighting to take that poor child away from her. No, you keep it up. And I guarantee that karma's gonna come back and bite you square in the ass.
Does Morgan know he got sick?
Hi, what are you doing here?
I should ask you the same. Isn't it a little bit hot to be working outside?
My air conditioner broke. At least there's a breeze out here.
Well, do you want me to have someone from the hotel come over and take a look at it?
No, thanks. That's all right. I called the repairman. Supposedly somebody's on their way over here.
Okay. Well, I got your message. You want to discuss the witness list?
Yeah, I do. How many of them do you expect me to depose?
I don't know. We can start with Shawn Butler. He came by my office today. Good job tracking him down, by the way.
Yeah, well, I farmed it out to a process server.
Okay, well, then you can't take the credit for that. He was very upset at me. So if he brings that kind of attitude to the deposition, I think it's going to be easy to convince the judge that he is a dangerous man.
Right. You know, I think I told you this, but you may have forgotten with all this stuff going on right now, but remember last winter when Molly had that bus crash and she had that bout with post-traumatic stress, had that meltdown near the library? You know who it was that reached out? It was Shawn.
Yes, it was Shawn, and he was very nice to her. Yes, I remember that.
Exactly.
You know who's also very nice? Jason. No, I mean that in the most sincere way possible. He's a nice guy, he's great with kids, but he's also dangerous, and I don't want him anywhere near Jocelyn.
Okay. That being said, Shawn helped my child, and he had nothing to gain for that. He just showed compassion to a scared little girl, and I, for one, am uncomfortable about dragging him through court, opening sealed records to show that he's a danger to Jocelyn when he hasn't even guarded her. He's not doing that anymore.
And he shouldn't have guarded her, and he wouldn't have if he'd been checked out properly.
I get the argument.
Right.
I really do. But don't you think it's just a bit off point? He's not even working for Carly anymore. Listen, I am concerned about how the court is going to view your development of this case. They're going to say it's a little heavy-handed and you know what, punitive.
I'm trying to save Jocelyn's life here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's another problem. I don't even recognize Jax. You have no proof that Carly has endangered Jocelyn, much less put her life at risk.
Michael was shot in the head. Are we all forgetting that?
How many times do we have to go through that, Jax? That does not constitute evidence. He was shot while he was with Sonny on property that Sonny owned.
Right, and Carly takes Jocelyn to Sonny's house. So?
No gunshot was exchanged there, so if you try to make Sonny look like he's a danger to Jocelyn because Michael was shot, it's like saying that a bus can crash, so Carly shouldn't take Jocelyn on a bus because it's dangerous. It's a specious argument.
It's ridiculous, and I disagree with you.
I'm your friend. I know you're a good parent, but this judge doesn't necessarily know that. And from my lawyer perspective, Carly's looking better and better to this court.
It's the judge's job to make a decision in the best interest of the child,
well,
right?
The court's interpretation
right, and
of that
I intend to demonstrate that I am better for Jocelyn, that I can keep her safe. Okay?
Obviously, my lawyerly appeal is falling upon deaf ears, so I'm going to talk to you as a friend.
Oh, well, you've tried that already, and I disagreed with you, which you hate, but go ahead, please.
So I'm going to tell you what I think as someone who loves you.
No, that's...
I think that Carly hurt you, and you would be less than human if a part of you didn't want to hurt her back.
Hey,
Hey.
glad to have you back in town. How's the new job?
It was a short-term gig. Went well. Private security to cover a business trip in a hot spot.
Well, they hired the perfect man.
Hey, how's Jocelyn?
Well, she misses you. Seems that you taught her cat's cradle, so she keeps picking up yarn and string and trying to do it.
Sorry, I can't see her.
Me too. I just can't, until after the custody battle's
Well,
over.
that's what I want to tell you. A subpoena was waiting when I got back. Jax is calling me as a witness.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Well, Jax is going to drag up my friendly fire incident and twist it to claim you hired a murderous thug to guard Jocelyn.
Jason wanted to keep us safe from Franco. He said you were the best qualified person for the job, and he was right.
Yeah, well, be that as it may, I should have told you about my past before I took the job.
Even if you had, I would have hired you anyway.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, because I have great instincts.
Well, thanks to your instincts, you may lose your daughter.
Stop blaming yourself. I should be apologizing to you. Jax is trying to make me give in by targeting everyone I care about. You went above and beyond while Jocelyn was in the hospital. You played with her and you made her laugh. You kept me company. You listened to all my family drama. You were a good friend. I owe you.
I was glad to do it. It felt good to be doing something positive instead of getting paid to intimidate.
I'm just so sorry that Jax is going to turn it all around.
No, he never liked that I was guarding you or Jocelyn. I had no idea how hard he'd push back.
And his lawyer, Alexis Davis, she's good, and she is going to rip your past apart on the stand.
Now, you don't have to worry about me. I've learned to live with the consequences of my actions.
Sometimes when I look around, I see what this custody battle is doing to all the people around me. I just want to give up. And I think about being a visitor in Jocelyn's life and letting Jax dictate where and when I see my daughter, and I can't stop fighting.
I'm not trying to punish Carly. I'm trying to save my daughter, and if you don't believe me by now, I'm not going to convince you.
I believe that you're very sincere about your concern for Jocelyn. In part because it's an acceptable place to put your anger and your...
Yes, and I have every right to be angry. I'm trying to save my kid here.
You won't allow yourself to be mad at Carly for ending your marriage. You won't fight for the divorce, so you're fighting for Jocelyn.
That's ridiculous. I would never put any of us through this to sort of lash out at Carly.
Oh, by any of us, do you mean Michael and Morgan? Because you know we don't need the boys.
Look, Michael is a perfect example of what a horrible mother Carly is.
Do you really want to hold him up there like some freak, like some brain-damaged ex-con who's too dangerous to be around his sister?
No, I don't want to do that. I'm hoping that it won't come to that.
Then what about Morgan? You've been his stepfather for years. You take him sailing, Disneyland, you endure all those karate tournaments.
I love Morgan.
Then why would you put him through this? Why would you make him have to answer questions? No matter what he says, no matter what happens, he's going to blame himself.
Okay, you know what? Then schedule the boys' deposition last. That way, if Carly decides to compromise, then the boys won't have to testify at all.
By compromise, do you mean that Carly accepts visitation and you get sole custody because she's not going to do that? I wouldn't do that.
Oh, she doesn't have much of a choice, does she?
You are dangerously overconfident.
Look, Carly and I are going to meet with the mediator tonight, and I'm sure that this woman is going to see that I can provide a safer environment for Jocelyn.
Not if she thinks you're smug, arrogant, and entitled.
That's not very nice.
Like I said, I know you're a great guy, but this mediator doesn't necessarily know that. And this custody case is not bringing out the best aspects of your personality, so I would proceed with care.
I'm sure that Shawn Butler has run to Carly by now, and she's livid. I'm sure she wants to tell me in person how unfair I'm being and that she's never going to give up fighting for Jocelyn, so the timing will be pretty perfect.
So the mediator's going to walk in on Carly unloading on you? Is that what you planned?
I can't control what Carly's going to do. I better get back to the office, do some work. It appears your air conditioner man is a no-show.
Good. Then I'll call them and scream at them because it'll help me unload some of my hostility.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Jax,
Yes?
don't get so locked into what you want that you miss the chance to do what's right for your daughter.
Don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine.
I am worried about you. Really worried.
I know that you think...
I just spoke to Shawn, and I can't believe that you...
Hey! Perfect timing. I was just about to call you. Carly, this is Grace Yang. She's the court-appointed mediator.
Good to meet you.
You too. My attorney didn't tell me you'd be stopping by.
Oh, it's just an informal visit. I always find it's helpful to stop by unannounced. Gives people a chance to be themselves.
Oh. You didn't know about this either?
No, but I cleared my schedule. Nothing's more important than our daughter's welfare.
You're right. And since Jocelyn's at the park with Mercedes, I'm free. What do you need to know?
Oh, I'd like to get a sense of your respective approaches to the custody situation and how open you are to compromise. Mr. Jax has been very helpful.
I'm sure.
Now, I look forward to hearing from you, Mrs. Jax. Tell me, what are your goals for raising your daughter?
My goal is to provide a happy, stable home for my daughter, and I have.
Who lives in your house?
Me, Jocelyn, her nanny, Mercedes, and her 13-year-old brother, Morgan.
Well, I gather you also have a few regular visitors.
Yes, my son's father, Sonny, stops by occasionally. My friend Jason, who happens to be Jocelyn's godfather.
Sonny Corinthos and Jason Morgan, both alleged to be in organized crime.
They own a coffee importing business.
Among other things.
Jocelyn is safe and happy in my house. She's thriving, and Jax knows this.
Any other visitors of interest?
Jocelyn's older brother, Michael. He stops by a lot. She adores him, and he's wonderful with her.
My records show Michael is a paroled felon.
His parole is finished.
The records indicate anger control issues and emotional problems. Is Michael ever alone with Jocelyn and supervised?
Michael saved Jocelyn's life. He killed the woman who was trying to kidnap her.
Hence the prison sentence for manslaughter, isn't that right?
Michael doesn't have emotional problems, okay? The only problem here is Jax. How could you do this to Jocelyn and her brothers?
Hey, I was just telling the truth.
You sorry son of a bitch.